Hey guys, this is Shane and welcome to my Curator of the Lost channel. Today, I've got a ton of stuff to show you that I got from a 25-cent book sale at my local library, one of my local libraries in Huntsville. And I spent $30, which if you do that quick math, that's 120 books. But I think I've got over $1,000 profit, probably sales, at least $2,000 worth of sales potential, in these. So it's just, I really was a great haul. And what's funny about this is I say the 25-cent book sales are something that it's hard to learn at, right? It's always, usually there's so many people there. It's just like you kind of have to follow your instinct. Luckily, if you're wrong, you're only wrong by 25 cents by a quarter. But it's a really difficult thing to, I see some people trying to scan, but I usually don't do that at a 25-cent sale. But I had a circumstance where I saw this interesting book and I was like, let me look this up. And it was a big win. And then there was just a ton of stuff. So I'm going to show it to you. But best way is just to jump in. So, hey, I'm going to give a shout out to a viewer and fellow bookseller, Chris, at the sale. Thanks for stopping and saying, hey, it's good to see you. And I know we've seen each other around other stores. So hopefully you had some good hauls too. But let me break and I'll show you kind of the layout of it, and so you kind of get a sense of things, and then we'll just we'll show you what it was. Okay, all right. So here's the layout of the sale. All right, here's the layout. They just have tables, and normally, like I said, the crowd is huge. It seemed kind of light. And I found all these books, all music books I'm going to show you right next to the pole. And there's Chris in the background right there, and the sci-fi's in the back. But this is what it was like. All right, so this was interesting because I got there. And so luckily it was the members only part. We joined the Friends of the Library, and I'll say on the library sale, most of the stuff that's at this library, it's donated. We're not talking ex-library books. This is donated stuff. They have a bookstore, and then stuff that they don't sell in their bookstore, for some reason they don't think it's sellable in the bookstore, they box up, and usually twice a year, sometimes 3 years, but usually twice a year, they'll have a 25-cent sale. That's what this was. The number of people seemed to be down, and actually the amount of books that were there that they normally have seemed to be down. And that actually correlates with what I've seen in their bookstore. It seems like their stock has been down over the last few months. So at any rate, I still made some great hauls. So they always have the same thing. I always go in, I hit the engineering, I hit science fiction, then I just go to kind of special interest. I'll breeze through the fiction stuff, but I don't really hit that as hard. And again, I'm going out for lunch, go back to do my day job. So it's kind of a nice lunch break. But so here's some things I found. First off, some of the cool, I think some big, amazing wins on science fiction. All right, here's one. Philip K. Dick, if you've never read him, always mind-bending sci-fi. The Penultimate Truth. I've got some copies of this. This particular book, I've got sold comps on this on eBay for $15 to $25. One was $14.99, one was $24.99, this exact edition. So pretty cool cover there. That's nice. All right, this one is crazy. This is, look, The Running Man, Bachman. Now, if you know, this is Stephen King writing as Richard Bachman. This is the first edition signet. They made this into the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I saw this and I was like, again, I wasn't sure. I think this is a good one. I picked it up again for a quarter. Look, see, full number line, first printing, first edition. All right. This little paperback, ratted out, I've seen sell on eBay for $100. There's some that have sold for $350. Now this one, look, there's spine tilt. There's creasing on the back. That's publisher marks there. It's not a remainder mark. It's got surface wear. All the pages are good. All the page, a little bit of tanning to the pages. This is at least $100 paperback. I can't believe this. This is amazing for a quarter. All right. Then, now these are ones that are probably going to stay with me. Slan, I just love the artwork. Some of these are classic. Slan is a classic. It's been published multiple times, but classic vote. I'm always up for ace doubles. Look, here's ace doubles. It has the Pirates of Zen on one side, but then it has the mutant weapon, Murray Leinster on the other side. And I always love the ace doubles. I collect these, so that's a good one. Look at this. An old, this is Avon Space Plague. That cover, look at that cover. That is so cool. Just all the intricate detail and stuff. I mean, it's just, that's amazing. All right, another Murray Leinster. I love this cover. This is just, look, that is such a cool cover. Brain Stealers. You can't get any better than that. That's awesome. All right, here's one that I bought because I had sold some of his stuff recently. It's the doll science fiction, which is always good to collect. But Brian Lumley, and he's known for like the Necroscope series and kind of like more like horror. But in this one, the burrs beneath. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? I just get giddy over this stuff. All right. The Galaxy of Primes, early print from Doc Smith, E.E. Smith. I'll show you some more of his stuff in a second. And look at this one. That is so cool. I just love it. And then this is it's an early Signet Bron Aldis Starship. Again, just beautiful artwork. These will be going in. These are going into the Shane Curator of the Lost collection. All right, so along those lines of I talked about E.E. Smith, science fiction writer. I've got all these, and he wrote the stuff for the Lensman, Triplanetary, so it's the first Lensman, and some of these are the Pyramid editions. Kind of a thin market, but when you see these, I get them to sell as lots, to lot them up. So that's how those will go. All right. So some of the next things that I got, some pretty cool stuff. I've talked about this guy before, The Shadow of the Torturer, Gene Wolfe. It's always easy to remember because Wolfe is spelled with a wolf with an E. But this, they call this the the sun cycle. Anyway, they had two of these. I was hoping to have. They also had the Call of the Conciliator. Okay, these are book club editions. You can see they're book club editions. And look, there's issues here. There's issues. These editions, these are like from the 80s, hardback book club editions. They still sell. They sell really well. So I got those. But the big win on that was this one, The Castle of the Otter. Really in nice condition. It's got some tanning, but that is an amazing cover. This is about, I didn't tell you the value on the others. I see these are a little rated out, so I think they'll sell for $20 to $30 each, hardback on the early book club editions. This one sells on eBay all the time for between 70 and 80 bucks. So I actually have not seen this one in hardback like this before. So I was really amazed when I saw it. So this is what's interesting. This is about the other series. This Book of the New Sun series. That has has these two in it. Has the Shadow of the Torturer. There's a third one, Call of the Conciliator. This book is about writing that series. So it's kind of fun. $70 or $80 book. All right. Here's one that it's kind of bizarre. And I'm going to break here and I'm going to show you kind of how my eye worked. I saw the Purcell, Crenshaw, and Letcher Archery. It was in kind of this history area. And so it's sitting on the shelf like this, right? And this is military history type stuff, about this infantry. So I'm going to break it. I'm going to show you. When I saw it, I said, oh, I've got to video this. This is how it looks, and it has to catch your eye, right? So I'm going to break to that and show you, and then I'll come back. Hey, you're scanning. Your eyeball's got to be quick. Boom, there it is. All right, so you see I was scanning through, and there it was. Now, this is a quarter. I bought it for a quarter. I have, this hasn't sold on Amazon. There's 2 listed on eBay. They're both listed for $100. You know, thin market. It's the sort of thing I'll list on eBay. I don't think it'll sell for $100, but I think I can list mine for 75. I can even list mine for 50. For that matter, I can list mine for 30. You know, but it's the sort of thing that I'm willing to, especially for a quarter, put on my shelf, which you can see I'm still working on repopulating after clearing out all my eBay stuff. So that's just kind of a glimpse of how, you know, I see it, boom, in the middle of the stuff, and you just have to pick it out, right? All right, so one thing that I enjoy on these sales is when I see things in mass. When I see things in mass, I'm thinking how to sell them in a lot, L-O-T. Well, they had this shoebox. This is exactly how they were in the sale, just sitting on the floor. And it's all Nevil Shute. I think that's how you pronounce it. Shute, I think. Anyway, there's what? There's 3, 6, 9, 12. There's 16 of these. So this is $4. I see people selling lots of Nevil Shute for anywhere between 25 to 50 bucks. So that's how I'm going to list these all together. Some of them, you know, they're vintage paperbacks. What's funny, when I went to check out the lady that's counting my stuff, Carol, she said, she's there all the time. I've known her for years. She started laughing out loud, and she said, tell me the story. She said she was giving birth to her first child. She said it was back in the day. People couldn't visit you. She was there at the hospital in the room by herself, and she was nervous, and her husband had went down to the gift shop and bought her a book to read in between labor pains. And it was This Far Country by Nevil Shute. And she said it's one of the most depressing books ever. And she read it while she was in labor, and she wrote the date in it. And then in later years, her daughter found the book and said, Mom, isn't this a really depressing book? And her history, she was a librarian, was what she did as a career. And she said, yes, it was, but look inside it. And it was on her daughter's birthday, because it was when she was giving birth. And she said, I'm giving birth, I'm reading this, I'm going through labor pains, I'm reading this book that is so depressing. And so it was kind of another side story to Nevil. So that's pretty funny. All right. Then here's one. This one, the Mini Cooper. When I see these specialized service manuals, I always get them. I can't believe I got this for a quarter. Amazon, I've seen this sell for, it's like $88. It's only sold 1 in 6 months. However, this is one's going to go to eBay. eBay, I've seen 6 sales since January. So in the last 3 months, I've seen 6 sales, roughly 2 a month, selling anywhere between $70 and $105. eBay, it's going to be good. All right. Now, all these others I'm going to zoom through, but these are what caught my eye, and there was nobody around on this area. And I looked one of them up, and I'm like, I can't believe the value. I can't believe it. And you're going to see I've got little tags because it's so much stuff. This is how I start figuring out how I'm going to list it when I'm looking at them, when I do my research. But it was this book on teaching music through performance in band. And so I looked it up. It's a pretty thick book, nice book. This thing on Amazon, and all of these are going to, I think all of these I'm fixing to show you are going to go to my Amazon sales. It had an E-score of 9, which means it's selling about every 2 weeks. And it's around $57. I was like, wow. Okay. Well, right next to it was this book, Teaching Music Through Performance, Beginning Band, $20 to $25. And then all these others I'm gonna zoom through because there's like 30 of them. Or this was like a band director's library. They must have just had somebody that worked in, or music directors. I can't believe how much these are worth. And talking about the 25 cent in the book sale not being a place to learn, I guess that would be what I would say, but I really learned something here. This is something that, honestly, if it was on a shelf, like in a regular store, I probably would zoom through it and not even think about it. And so as I'm going through some of these, I'm actually just like, are you kidding me? I'm just shocked. And my bag just keeps getting fuller. I paid a quarter for all these. I think of the band stuff that I'm showing, I think I added up that my sales potential on these just conservatively is $1,500 to $1,600 just for these band books. I think on Amazon, that's an easy figure. So with all the other stuff, that's why I'm like, probably got $2,000 worth of sales. Even at 50% profit sharing with the platform, I think eBay would be a little, I wouldn't have to share as much, but just using a 2-for-1 rough figure, especially like with the Amazon, fulfilled by Amazon, just figure whatever. You sell something for 20, you're probably gonna make about 10 profit when it's all said and done. Just an easy rule of thumb. Amazon, fulfilled by Amazon's got a little higher fees than say eBay would. eBay's probably more like around, when it's all said and done, 30 to 35%. It's kind of the numbers I run. But, and obviously that depends a little bit on higher value books, you know, some of those base costs kind of get distributed. But so let's just go through these again. What I've kind of recorded here is how quickly they sell and what the value is. So here's one, you know, just listening excerpts. This is like a $20 book. It sells like, this one only sells every 2 to 3 months. This is all like what I'm seeing from Amazon statistics, okay? This one, there were 2 copies of it. It actually shows that it sells about every 4 to 5 days. $20. This Habits of a Successful Band Director, and there's 2 of them. 2. Then here's one that sells every couple of months. This Choosing Help Over Hurt: Successful Habits for Teaching Band. $30 is what it sells for. Okay. Here's one. This one's selling like every month or so, weaving it all together. It's a spiral bound, but this is interesting. Look at this. This practical guide to applying Gordon's music learning theory in elementary general music program. That seems pretty technical. That would catch my eye. This thing sells for $40 every couple of months. Actually, about every month on Amazon. Then here's one that sells about every month as well. Habits of a Significant Band Director. Sells for $30. I got 2 of them. This one, again, this is a little thinner. Aligning Music to STEM. This is $25. Sells every 2 to 3 months. Here's one that sells every couple of months. Programming Notes. Guide to Band Directory. This is $40 when it sells. I'm okay for a quarter to let it take a couple months to sell. Here's Develop Jazz Musicianship. This one, like every 30, 40 days is what I'm estimating, is what I see on the sales. It's selling for like $25. Here's one, a guide to score study for the wind band. There's a lot of wind band on this, you're gonna see. This sells for $40. I see it sell, this one seems to sell like once a week, sort of thing. Then Windward Methods, okay? This one typically is selling for between like 40, 45. Here's Brass Methods, okay? This one's selling for like $30. Adventures in Band Building. Then I got 4 copies of this one. There's 4 copies of this one. Go On, Tell Your Story. This is The Voices of Women Band Directors. And this one's selling like every 2 to 2.5 weeks. I see this one selling for $25. Pretty amazing. There's another $30 one on rehearsing high school band. Here's The Artistry of Teaching Music, $20. Another one on boosters. This one sells for $36. You know, all this is Amazon statistics. This is what I'm going to send them into price based on what I saw for Fulfilled by Amazon used books, even though all these look like they've not even been used. Here's another Habits of Successful Music Students, $34. Here's this one seems to sell every 3 to 4 days. Middle School Band Director, Successful Habits, sells for $27 all the time. And then I got 5 or 6 copies of this one. I only have this new comps, but it's this developing error detection skills for WinBand, okay? Got E-score 46, which means it's selling every 3 to 4 days, okay? New, this is selling for 60 bucks. I think I can sell it for 50. These things look new, but they'll be sold as used. I got 5 of them, 60 bucks each is what they're selling for new. I'm gonna call it 50. So there's some more sci-fi stuff. Let's see, is there anything else? Oh, here's one that, I don't know, it was just for a quarter. This was an interesting Crossrail Archaeology, Changing Face of London. Look at that one. All right. I haven't got any sold comps on this, but I see list comps at like 90 bucks. I got it for a quarter. I thought, hey, people were trying to sell it for 90 bucks. Oh, for a quarter, I'll get it. We'll send it. Maybe I'll price it at 50, see what happens. So I had a few things I had 3 or 4 books that I got in that were like, pages were out loose. I had to throw them away. They're just like ripped apart that I didn't catch when I was there. On the technical book side this time, I only had 3 or 4, and most of them were $5, $6 books. They were misses. Again, sometimes on those you just have to take them because, like, there's one guy there that comes in with a box and he just loads up the technical books, and you just don't have time. You don't have time to look up or think about it. You just got to take it and go, move on, and that's just the way it is. But I had some big wins here, and I still can't believe a couple of these. That Mini Cooper and this the Bachman book. It's crazy. You know, sometimes it's it's a mix of being good and being lucky, right? That's what it boils down to. I'll take both. I'm not saying I'm good. I'll take luck any day. But that's it. Hey, I wanted to share this because I'm starting to process these, get them on eBay, get them to Amazon. See cool, buy cool, list them so you can sell them, and then go from there. So anyway, see you guys. Hope it's good, and talk to you soon. Bye.